Welcome to Coder Catch Up. My name is Jamie Jones, and today I'm going to be talking about what's new in NPM version 6. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go through what's new in NPM version 6. Now, if you don't know what NPM is, it's the Node Package Manager. It allows you to manage your packages in your Node projects. Now, Node 6 was released alongside Node version 10. Now, I wouldn't upgrade to Node 10 just yet because there are still, at least at this point in time when this podcast is recorded, because there's some incompatibility issues with some various packages and things like that. So something to be aware of there. But what we're going to do is go through what's new in NPM 6. Now, it's not action-packed because it's not a Rails release. Bad joke. But basically, it's a small release, but there are some massive improvements in each of these small features or changes in it. So what I'm going to do is just go over the release notes and give you some of my thoughts. And there's one particular feature it's worth upgrading to straight away for. So let's get into that one now. So basically, they went through and did a survey about what's the most important, etc. And they're saying here, when we ask for your attitudes towards whether the code you use is secure, we learned two eye-opening facts. First, 77% of developers express concern with whether the open source code they use is secure. More interestingly, 87% expressed concern about the safety of their own code. Put another way, more developers trust the security of the open source code they use than trust themselves. Now, this is a pretty big statement, and I have to agree just because of the tooling alone. Now, this is something that's being addressed in this release, or at least partially addressed in this release, and it's nice to see because it's things that I'm used to using in Ruby that really do make a big difference. I think there's some more they can do, but I'm sure they'll be coming in the near future. But let's go on with it now. I'm going to skip over this part about how they're talking about complexity of best practices and security and stuff. So getting on with NPM 6, security is now built in. Now basically earlier, the Node Security Project, which has a great tool, NSP, that allows you to check your dependencies and any of those dependencies security status to see if there's any advisories, that's now been brought into Node 6, or it's been brought into the Node Foundation. And so that's now part of NPM. So what they're saying here is earlier this month, we were excited to announce our acquisition of the Node Security Platform, the definitive source of known JavaScript package vulnerabilities. With NPM 6, we're proud to announce the first fruits of our collaboration. Soon, every user of the NPM registry will begin receiving automatic warnings if you try to use code with a known security issue. NPM will automatically review install requests against the NSP database and return a warning if the code contains a vulnerability. In addition, a new command in NPM 6, NPM Audit, will soon allow you to recursively analyze your dependency trees to identify specifically what's insecure, so you can swap in a new version or find a safer alternative dependency. So these features are already available to users of NPM's beta registry, and in coming weeks, they will automatically roll out to every member of the community. Both of these features are available free of charge to every NPM user with no purchase or registration required. Customers of our paid services will receive additional pre-publication vulnerability disclosures, formerly the NSP's premium tier. We're giving away these resources to maximize community benefit. Every developer needs to know that the code they use is safe. By alerting the entire community to security vulnerabilities within a tool you already use, we can make JavaScript development safer for everyone. Now, this is a pretty big deal. Like, this is a feature that you think it's not much, but it actually can do quite a lot for you. And it's something that I highly recommend making use of. So it's worth upgrading NPM now from 5 to 6. If you're on 5, if you're on earlier, then definitely upgrade to 6. But the thing is, it's great to have it there, but you need to put in processes to check these things and make sure that you're actually running commands to make sure things are up to date when you're working on a project locally, because you're going to get that feedback instantaneously and you can fix it during your sprint, etc. It's really important to run. Now, the one thing that's not out, which is coming out, as they said, is basically the notifications, which is a huge one. Drupal is very, very good at this. They do advisories to let you know about security vulnerabilities with different modules and things like that. This is kind of doing the same thing, and it really makes it a lot easier for you to maintain and keep your application secure, whether it's for a client, for yourself, whatever. So that's a really nice feature there. I recommend upgrading just for that. All right, so the next one, the more, and this is really around performance, most of it. So what they got here is performance enhancement. So NPM 6 is up to 17 times faster than the NPM of 1 year ago. Like 17% is massive, like a massive improvement. You might look at some of these numbers sometimes and think, oh, that's not that big, 5%, 10%, but it really does add up over time depending on the tasks that they're running. And 17%, hats off, that's a pretty massive improvement there. The next one is optimization for CI. So this is the new NPM CI command. It makes using NPM within your continuous integration, continuous deployment workflow an additional 2 to 3 times faster. This is something, if you haven't upgraded yet, it's highly recommended doing that in your CI or CD workflow to use this command instead of NPM install, because it's just going to give you much more of a benefit there. There's a few different things there. Highly recommend checking it out, because there's a few things it does, like it'll blow up in certain situations where you want it to blow up and show errors and things like that. It's nice, so check it out. Next one is webhook management. So we first introduced webhooks real-time notifications of registry and package changes almost 2 years ago, but now it's possible to configure these from directly within the NPM CLI. We can't wait to see what powerful developer tools you build. Now this one, I'm not too sure of the usage. Like I haven't actually played around with this or used it, so I don't really have too much feedback on that. But I'd love to know if you use it or you're developing anything, what it's like for you. Have you tried this already? Because this is, by the time this podcast comes out, it's probably been out for a little bit. But I'd love to know what you use it for. So send through a tweet, leave a comment, send an email. That'd be great. The next thing is more visible integrity metadata. So it's becoming easier every day to verify that a package hasn't been tampered with or corrupted. This is a pretty big thing. Personally, I haven't actually checked to make sure that everything's fine, like checksums and stuff like that. But it's nice to see that they're really taking a big focus on the security side of things, because it's very easy for a package or a certain dependency to basically be tampered with, and it can cause havoc in your code and possibly cost you a lot of money. So nice to see there. And then just kind of rounding it out, so there's automatic resolution of lock file conflicts, so teams can more easily share reproducible builds. And this is basically just around issues where there's some minor issues with lock files, but it did cause a bit of a headache, and this really solves it a lot better. I can only go off by the notes because I haven't had this happen yet or haven't worked with it yet. So take that with a grain of salt. I can't verify how good it is or whatnot, but it's nice to see that they've included there. And I think that rounds it out. Yep. So basically that's it. If you want to upgrade, just NPM install globally, NPM at latest, and that'll upgrade you to NPM 6. But that's all I really got for this one. I'd love to know your thoughts on it. What do you think of this release? Do you think the node security project being moved in is going to make a big difference to your agency, your workflow, etc.? I'd love to know. Have you set up any processes for running the NPM audit command locally now with this, or have you been using NSP previously, and how are you going to migrate from NSP to the NPM side of things? I'd love to know. Leave a comment in the comment section below if you're watching this on YouTube. Also, if you are enjoying it, please give it a like and a subscribe. And if you do want to find out as soon as these episodes come out, just click on the little bell icon. And if you are listening to iTunes, make sure you subscribe in your podcatcher of choice. Whatever you subscribe through, if you are subscribed through iTunes, a rating and review would be awesome. If you do want to get in contact, you can send through a tweet to @CoderCatchup on Twitter, or send me a DM. You can also send through an email to codercatchup@gmail.com and send an email through there if you want something a bit more long form. Otherwise, you can just leave a comment on codercatchup.com for this episode, or again on the YouTube channel. But that's all I really got for this one. We'll catch the next one. Bye.